Hi team, Dave Benfrotto here from Rod&Rifle magazine with another video review. We have two tripods here from Manfrotto. We have the BeFree Carbon and the Element. So as a hunting magazine, why do we need to be looking at tripods, you might be asking? Firstly, anyone who's done any long range shooting before will know that you spend a long time down behind these tripods and spotting scopes, and getting the right one and one that's right for the job is very important. Secondly, from all your great YouTube channels out there, I know there's a lot of hunters out there that like to film their adventures, and it's great to see. Part of the natural progression of those YouTube stars is getting a tripod to use for their filming. Obviously, when you're starting out, and you'll see a lot of the videos out there, it'll be filmed just holding the camera freestyle. That's great when you're starting out, and there has been some good footage captured, but as soon as you want to film something a little bit at distance, that's where the tripods come into it. And it's a natural progression that you start filming those videos freestyle and freehand, and then you move on to purchasing something like a tripod. So that's why we're looking at tripods today, team. So comparing the two tripods, starting at the top, the cradle on the BeFree Carbon here is a lot stiffer. The ball joint is a lot stiffer than the Element, which is pretty much, once it's loosened off, is free running. So for that reason, I really like this more for your spotting scope design. Okay, when you have the spotting scope on there and you loosen the ball joint, you do want a little bit of stiffness there just to make it easier to adjust. On this here, you just have to be aware on the Element that when you do loosen the ball joint, it is going to be completely free wheeling. Both of the clamps work really well, but I would say on this one here, I believe this is an Arca style clamp. I would just say be careful that when you place the spotting scope or the camera inside of it, that you just take a second to make sure that this little clip here is done up. If it's not done up properly, you can think that it's in there solidly, but it can actually fall off there, so just be aware of that. It does work well, but you just have to take care. A great feature on the Element is it actually turns into a monopod, meaning you can release the cradle, you can take that off, and you can release one of the legs and then attach the two together, and you have a really nifty monopod, which can be really good for filming, not so great for the spotting scope. So you see already we're leaning towards more of a camera style tripod. And this would be absolutely perfect for your spotting scope stuff. Also, on the difference between the two, the Carbon BeFree is also lighter, so really good if you're really weight conscious and you don't want anything that's too heavy. And also, the Element extends right up to full height, so if you need to be stood up more, you would go for the Element. And if you want weight saving and you don't need it to go to its full extent, you don't need to be stood up behind it, then obviously the BeFree is the one you want to go to. All of the legs on both tripods use screw locks. Now when you have a screw lock, what you want is you don't want to be winding forever to loosen it or tighten it. You just want a nice clear cut point where it'll loosen and tighten. Okay, and both of those have that. That goes towards the quality of the tripods. As soon as you buy a cheap tripod, one of the first things you'll notice is when you're extending or locking the legs, it's going to be a bit of a nuisance. Whereas these, they're made of quality materials and they work really well. When you're trying to see something at distance, either with a camera zoomed in or a spotting scope, then part of that is how stable the tripod is. Okay, as soon as you buy a cheaper tripod or one that can't carry the weight of what you're trying to use on it properly, every time the wind blows or there's any sort of vibration, it's going to really affect the quality of the picture that you're getting. Both of these tripods came up in trumps in that regard, and that's what you pay for. Also, they both come with foot spikes as opposed to the rubberized soles, so depending on what ground you're using it on, you can swap them out. That's a useful feature. Overall, both tripods really came up trumps. They're made with quality materials. It's just really a matter of delving into the differences between the two to get the best one for what you want. As I said before, if I was leaning towards a spotting scope for long range shooting style of tripod, I'd definitely be leaning towards the BeFree Carbon. if I was after just a straight camera, or it can still be used as a spotting scope, I'd go more for the element. Remember, the element extends longer as well, so if you are taller or you don't, or you want to actually stand up behind the tripod, then it is definitely the element. Overall, 2 cracking tripods, definitely at the bracket of buy once, cry once. They're not the cheapest on the market, but they are both quality, and that's what you pay for.